Okay, I just finished up the last video. Hopefully you guys are a little farther along in actually laying out your light fixtures. I didn't get a chance to do that because, as you can see, it's 1:32 p.m. and the second class is going to begin in just a little bit, so I actually wanted to get this video done before the next class started. The only things that we have left to put on this plan are going to be our electrical outlets. And so in the blocks that we just downloaded earlier today, there is a folder called outlets. And there's a few different types of outlets here. Outlet 220. This is a required outlet um, for your range, for your cooktop, for an oven. Well, not necessarily a cooktop. A cooktop can be 110, but an oven's got to be 220. And anytime you insert it, just insert it at the scale that it actually inserts at is totally fine. And I'm going to put that right there. There we go. A duplex outlet is your regular old outlet that you see everywhere. Single plate with two little spots to plug things into. And by code, you have to have one of these on every wall, or 10 feet spaced along the wall if your walls are longer than 10 feet. Or I think you can't have more than 10 feet between outlets, I think is what the code actually stipulates. And because I still have my furniture in here, instead of putting one plug in the middle of the room, I am going to put one plug on either side where the nightstands are going to go. Why? Because that makes sense to me. See, oh, there we go. Sometimes I try and use the copy command, and it only registers the C, and then as I start a circle, I'm wondering, hey, why aren't things working right? So I'm doing this just real loosey-goosey, real slapdash. I want to show you the properties and the reasons why we do things. You guys are going to have to figure out where to put them. There's going to be a time for plan review a little later. If you have a quad outlet, this is basically, sometimes you'll see them in garages. You might see them in the like a media room, or where you know you're going to be plugging a lot of things in. But it's an electrical cover plate, but it's got 4 spots in it to plug your stuff in. I actually want one. God, quit. Yeah, this is just making me bonkers. Outlet quad. Drag and drop. There we go. And I want him here in the middle, assuming he wakes up. There we go. I'm going to put him against the existing wall. We can do that. And depending on what else is going on here, there's going to be some other stuff. If you have a TV, that's why you see one here for teledata. And that's this would be your internet connection, your phone connection, your cable TV connection. There we go. That's a teledata connection. That's probably one of the few places you'd have it, unless you've got your apartment or your house, like mine is, like you've got network wiring run all through there, so that you can actually plug your computer in to the LAN connection instead of using Wi-Fi. Those of you who do lots of heavy-duty gaming will know the difference. We've covered a 220, we've covered a duplex, we've covered a quad. A special outlet, it's going to be one of a couple things. Your HVAC and your water heater, always a special outlet, usually because it's a special voltage requirement, or it's the kind of thing where nobody but a licensed electrician is supposed to be touching it in the first place. So they put the type of outlet connector on there that basically prevents Jane Q and John Q public from monkeying with the stuff that only a licensed electrician is really supposed to be dealing with. So you should use that on your mechanical, your HVAC. a separate one for your water heater, and you will have another one for your refrigerator. There we go. Okay. You'll need a 221 here for the dryer. Now, if you have a combination washer-dryer unit, where it's a single unit that does both, not a stacked one will require 220. A combo unit will require a special outlet. If, like me, you have a separate dryer and a separate washer, then you will need a duplex for your washer, and you will need a 220 for your dryer. Okay. Those are the outlet types. That's more or less what you use the different outlet types for. You can see my plan is incomplete. Will be completed later because class is going to start in a little bit and I still have to upload these videos. But you can see things are starting to take shape. Now remember, when it comes to placing electrical outlets, they should be no further than 10 feet apart. You need to have at least one per wall. Even if you include them, go away. And go away. If you include one on this little wing wall right here, this existing wing wall, if you include the other one on the existing wing wall, hey, that qualifies. Even though this door is wider than 10 feet, you're close enough where you can get to it. And then I've got one here, so I have got a quad outlet here, so I really don't need another outlet until I get all the way over here. And then I don't need one here because I can get to one right there. This one's going to be hidden behind furniture. So there's going to be some things that we get to play around with. Now, any of you guys want to come to me and say, hey, do I have this right? Are there any suggestions? If you want me to do a design critique, I'm more than happy to help you out with that. Hopefully, all this information, you guys will be done with your reflected ceiling, your lighting layouts. We need to be done with this to keep track with the project because we're moving on to elevations and sections on Thursday. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys here in class.